in the Croatan district. Marques Levotolia, unable to rest for the day, lies in his bed. To his left-hand side, the Duke of another district, of the Foothills district, Andy Amos of the also of the Toreador. Spitting image of beauty. A woman that Marques had some fancy for years. Only in recent nights had he and Miss Amos finally became public with their little tryst. Marques's mind began to reminisce and began to wonder. Couldn't help but think back on the last 100 years or so. The first image that came to mind was one that he immediately made every effort to dismiss, though it seemed to fail. There was something about that hat that even after all these many years, that hat remained ingrained in his memory. Perhaps it was the consistent lip, right lip, or even the "God damn it, Lee, get off your ass and do that right the first fucking time," or even it was the "I swear to God, if you don't come out of there, I'm going in there and I will skull fuck you." Marques wasn't 100% sure. It was certainly a memory. The image faded away, almost as though almost like you see in those old 60s TV shows with when the screen goes wavy on the side until a third image replaced it. Another image that Marques would likely never forget. Stand up! Sound off for equipment check. 1 okay. 2 okay. 3 okay. 4 okay. The numbers would continue on till Marques himself heard his own voice. 12 okay. Something you didn't forget. Just like that was something you didn't forget when that blast of wind hit you in the face on the way out the door. And the sight of all of your brothers who had been through those same nights and days and nights of physical torture, of hell that you had been through. Like so many drops of rain falling on the barren earth below. But this was different. He wasn't 100% sure why he had even signed up to do this thing. May have been the money. May have been the chicks. Oh God, the chicks. at one time in Nevada. Maybe it was the glory, but if it was the glory, that's certainly erased quick. You know, cannon and AA guns and all manner of other horror of war tends to sober a man quickly. Again, as Marques's mind fell into a silence as he reminisced back on so many of his brothers that never made it to the ground. So many that were taken. So many young men like himself that had been cut down over this great nonsense, this he trailed off as another image appeared to him. Ah, yeah. There they were, the old squad. Lewiston, Marshall, oh gosh. That clown Marshall. No, the annoyance that he would give us, so he gave the sergeant, and all those days of those and chewing gum incident. That was comedy gold right there. It's too bad he never made it home. Well, he made it home in a wooden box. And then there was Smithwick. Smithwick, right there on the end of the picture. Marquez shook his head as his eyes looked down to the bed. And almost something welled in the corner of his eye. It's an old mortal habit. A single drop of blood fell from the duct of his eye as it ran down the side of his face, like as if it was in a hurry to get somewhere. Again, allowing the image to fade. Another appeared. An image of him. Not even a happier time. And it wasn't even what he came home to something much, much worse. But it was here. It was here in this image that he had quite possibly reached out there and made an impact. It was here where Marcus Lee had became a man of quality. And it was here where so many of the things that he had done in those fields and those forests of so many foreign names that he could barely pronounce, even with his Creole heritage. It was also here that he would become influenced by the musicians of greats, of the Elvises, of the Buddy Hollies, all those old blues and R&B players. That's when America was great. When men were men and cars, it's just the very essence of the car. That Van Gogh on four wheels. Just turning that key over and just feeling that rumble under your ass. And the first time of that new Chevy, the first time you put the top back, and it was just you and your girl and the world. When music was music and quality. But as this image faded away, it was not one of quality or caliber or even happiness that would replace it. Yeah, that day. The day that every American's heart on their chest. The day when we were sure that there must have been some joke or some misunderstanding, some miscommunication. No, there's no way that this could have happened. There's too much security. How and why? Why a man that had been so beloved by the people he served would be cut down so violently. And in such a public way. Marquez had always been a student of war, a student of, and even a student of politics, and he was well aware of the concept of an assassination. But this was something else. This wasn't even. This wasn't clean. This wasn't professional. This was just unadulterated evil. Just nothing that no man can ever describe. If something that she would have had to have been there for. And as that image faded away, Marquez came to a realization. In a mind such as his, and he was sure in the mind of many others who had lived through the things that he had lived through, and even in his kindred days as a kindred, his having lived, so to speak, he came to the realization that in a mind such as this, heaven and hell are never truly that far apart.